Well, good morning everyone. I'm at the Green Falls track in Mount Glorious this morning. It's a 2.2 kilometre return trip, so it's around about a 20-minute hike all the way down to Green Falls. It's a fairly nice walk down here. Sun's been up for half an hour, but it's not in the forest yet. Should be a nice morning. Now, I've been here a few times, so today this is more of a scouting trip for me. We had a lot of rain early last week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday we had 120 millimeters of rain, so there was just no chance for me to get out here before today. And today means Monday morning, so about 4 days ago. I've been to these falls a couple of times, but today I want to try my hand at photographing these falls in a panoramic format. So we're nearing the end of the track here to Greens Falls. We've been walking for about 15 minutes. I think I mentioned before, the last time I was here, this is what I photographed, this huge tree trunk, and you can see how big it is. But when we tried to take photos of this, even with a wide angle lens, you see how bright the background is and how dark the foreground is. And trying to get this on camera properly was just too hard. So I did a video on how to photograph items like this in a forest in HDR with about 3 or 5 photos. I'll re-put the link up here now. So this is Greens Falls. You see, there's a bit of water there. Now what I'm going to do is just do a hike through the forest here. I'll come down underneath here and walk. There's an old track that leads me down to the base of the falls. Well, you see that big stick over there, right in front of us? There's a drop off. I'm actually going to go just below that. So as you can see, we're at the base of Green Falls now. So I've got all myself set up here. I've got my tripod set up. Now, because I said I was going to shoot a panorama, I've had to level my tripod. And I've got a little spirit level, and I'll put a little picture of it, what I use to level my camera here. You can buy them on eBay. I don't have a bald head on today because normally when I shoot panoramas, I don't use a bald head. There's just too much to try to balance because I'm shooting basically horizontal here. I'm not tilting the camera at all. Maybe just a little bit, but I want to make sure everything was level. And this is very important when you shoot panoramas. Yes, you can shoot panoramas handheld, but because we're using a very low shutter speed here, I want to make sure that everything is dead level. And I couldn't shoot a panorama like I want to shoot handheld here. So I got my tripod set up, I've got my panoramic head set up here. I've already worked out roughly the amount of shots that I'm going to need. And it's going to be about 12 shots because I'll take a shot first of just the falls. And you'll see what I mean. These are very crunched in falls. But today I want to get a scene here. I don't just want a waterfall picture because all too often we go out and we just photograph the waterfall. It's very nice doing that. What about showing the people that you're displaying this photo to an image of what the waterfall area looks like? It's fine showing a waterfall picture like this. Now I could zoom in and just take this waterfall picture, but the people wouldn't have an idea of what the area looks like. And this is what I want. Also, there's a huge rock here in the foreground. Now, from this angle here, this rock would be very dominating, but in a panoramic image, it doesn't dominate. It looks really nice in the center. It's like a foreground feature. And then you see the falls in the background. Now, all I've got today is my Nikon D500, the Tokina 11-20 at around 16 mils and a Nissi polarizing filter. Like I always say, shooting around water, use a polarizer. Plus, the polarizer is going to help me reduce my shutter speed just that little bit. Now, the sun's coming up already and it's just touching the top of the trees up here. But using the polarizer, I'm getting no glare on the rocks here. Now, I dug out my Osmo Mobile because I tried to take a bit of handheld video, but I've got the shakes a bit this morning. I just couldn't get stable video. So the Osmo Mobile is my best mate for this situation. This is in landscape orientation. We're shooting in portrait orientation. This is the falls. Now, if I was just shooting a single image, look how big this foreground rock is. Can you see how big it is? It is just too much of a distraction. I'd have to be a little bit further back, but it looks great as a foreground object. Now, I'm going to swing around a little bit and tilt down a bit. So this is about how far I'm going to be shooting the panorama. And I'm going to move around very slowly like this. Look at that. So I'm all set up, but before we shoot a panorama, I'm going to show you why this foreground rock here is such a problem. We'll take a photo. Now my highlights are a little bit blown out. Let's go back over our settings. I'm shooting in manual mode. Why? When I shoot a panorama, I don't want my exposure to change, because when it comes to blending the image, if I've got a dark image, a bright image, it's going to be a pain to stitch these images up. So shoot in manual mode. Also, your white balance shouldn't be in auto. Choose a white balance preset. If you're shooting JPEGs, choose a white balance preset. I've chosen Sunny because I shoot JPEGs and RAW. We're at f16. I'm showing 1.6 seconds. That is too low. I've got to come down to 1.3. We'll take another shot. I want to make sure I don't blow the highlights. There, that is much better. Now look at the image here. Can you see how confronting this rock here? It's taking away a lot of the detail. But when we shoot the panorama, it's going to look great because it's going to give us some great foreground detail. We're only going to shoot a single row at the start, and then I'll shoot a double row panorama. This is where a panoramic tripod head really comes in, because you've got clicks, and I've set to 15 degrees. We're going to shoot around 10 to 12 to give us a very nice arc of an image. Let's get moving. So I'm going to go all the way to the side here. I've got to stop here. The sun's coming through. I got to remember where I start. So here we go. So we go 1, 2 second timer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a sneak peek of what the panorama could look like. Remember, these are just JPEGs. I haven't edited anything. What do you think? Doesn't it look much better than the single image? Now, let's do a double row panorama. And this is where the panoramic head comes in, because you want to make sure that all your images are lined up, because if they're not, you're never going to be able to stitch them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can see I don't have a bald head on here. All I've got is a panoramic head. Why? We want to rotate the camera on its axis. We don't want to use a bald head. We use a bald head and we tilt it up or rotate it down, we're going to get an arc. And then when you stitch it, you're going to lose a lot of the bottom and a lot of the top. If you're using a bald head, make sure left to right, front to back is all level. And I've done all this already. Now what I'm going to do is tilt down, and my second row, there, here we go. This should be a cracker of a video. It'll give us a lot more of our scene. And this is why we shoot panoramas, to get a feel of the scene. You saw the image here that I took, the single exposure, and it's great. It's great to say, I was at Green Falls and this is what it looked like. But how about showing what the area looks like? This is what panoramas are good for. Here, it's so tight here, but people are going to look and go like, oh, I wonder what the area looks like. With a panorama, people are like, wow, look at this massive rock here. And look at all the vegetation around. It gives them an idea of where you were. And this is what my idea for today was. I didn't know if it was going to succeed. This is why I said it was a scouting trip. Now there's not a lot of water today on this waterfall here. It would have been great last Friday, but I couldn't make it last Friday. Today being Monday was the first day I could get here. So now that I know that this is going to work, I can wait until the next time we have a huge downpour. Now I live in southeast Queensland, they're forecasting a very wet summer. So the next time we have a lot of rain, I can come down here, I can set up where I am, because I know where I need to be set up now, and shoot a panorama. It'll be very different. There'll be a lot more water, and here in front of this rock here, the water, instead of just going under the rock, will be flowing around the rock, you'll see so much more water. It'll be a very different image. That could be a wow image, and an image that I could add to my portfolio. Now I'm going to stop the video here, and before I go home, I'm just going to move and take a photo of the falls in front of this rock here, so we don't have the rock in our image. So I move from lower down, and I'm up the top here now, and you can see I'm hugging this big rock. This is the rock that was a feature of our panorama when we were just one level down. Why am I hugging it now? Because this is the only way I can get a decent shot. We're going to take one photo, and it looks really nice. I'm at ISO 100, 1.3 seconds. We'll take a photo. This looks so cool. I'm just going to tilt the camera down just that little bit. The reason being, look at the rock here. The rock was just about touching the bottom of my frame, and I didn't want that. I've just tilted the camera down a little bit. There's no more panoramic head on my tripod here. I've just got the bald head. We'll take another photo. Now, this looks beautiful. Can you see that I didn't put the waterfall in the center? It's slightly off center. There's that big rock in the foreground here, and it looks great. Now, I did shoot a panorama here. We're time constrained now. The video's already getting a bit long. The panorama that I shot here will be totally different to the one that I shot down the bottom. There's not going to be a big rock in the foreground. We're going to be really close to the waterfall. This gives me two beautiful panoramic images to display. Remember I said this was really a scouting trip. So the next time that the rain really downpours, I've got two places to take panoramic images from. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to stand here when the waterfall is in full flow. I'm only about 4 meters from the waterfall. There could be too much spray. I will just have to see what happens on the day. But I'll still be able to take even a single frame, because I can always quickly wipe the filter down, take another shot to try to stop the amount of spray that I'm imagining there will be this close to the waterfall. This is a great way to finish off my day. So here are the best images of today, both a couple of the single 6x4 images that I took and the panoramic images. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, give me a big thumbs up. I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Really helps me out. Stay safe, enjoy photography, and I'll see you next time.